Okay, so this evening we have Allie Picketts and Nicolas Bradley. And first of all, we're going to welcome Allie up to the microphone. Allie is a poet, musician, editor, parent, and teacher who is happiest in the woods. I think as her book reflects. She is thankful to live and write in Tusuk territory on Vancouver Island. And her debut collection, nemophile, was released in November 2023. And Jan's wiki says that Allie is a new lyric voice of depth and intelligence. That's high praise from Jan. Welcome, Allie.
Thank you. Jan might be too kind. You can decide for yourself. Yeah. So, nemophile. Nemophile means lover of the woods, the groves, the forests. And I've divided my book into seasons, and I think I have time to read 2 poems from each season. They're quite short, mostly. And I'm going to start with winter. Doorway. There is an unlit door in me. I see it when my eyes are closed. It's mine alone. On each approach, I grow and heighten, stretch and warm with magic in my limbs. And the world and I switch places. I the outside, she within. A dark, dark doorway built of voice, bone, skin. The next one is called Thy Neighbor's Chimes. I haven't walked this way before, but now I will again. A whole fresh symphony of rhythm, tempo, color, tone, in wood or silver cylinder, or hollow church bell gonging. Bells, the best part of churches now. Which hand hung them there, just so? Where air sips modes from metal, never the same song twice, quite. Or if so, you're struck dumb, wondering. I think I have time for one more short winter one. This one's called Odd. The midwives neglected to tell me this part. How 10 years postpartum, my chest would thrum, my milk trickle down when I see snowy firs, or rocks in the creek, or read a poem, or hear a fugue. I suppose I must want to feed the whole world. Now I'm going to spring, which is where the book actually starts. I started in winter just because we're in winter. Moss. I can't tell you, but you will know. If you have scaled an at times stream and tried to match the water trickling tune with your unwieldy voice, and didn't feel it leave, but noticed at last that the pain in your throat had gone. I think the moss absorbed it, or it rose to the ancient branches and was caught there while you escaped to home. But some of the forest stayed in your feet. So that night you grew roots and drew from the earth until you could hold no more. Be gentle with yourself. You are not wrong for walking on the moss. The next one is called There Are Still Birds Here. We are fortunate, and even the ditch streams flow cheerful and clear. Do you ever hear running water with none nearby? Any number of explanations could satisfy. A winter wren, a hidden spring, the wish to run away pumping just behind your eyes. It doesn't follow, but it happens, like unformed words or unhatched birds, an accidental and harmonic shift, or like tears when there are still birds here. Now I'm going to summer. Wilderness. We met in the wilderness. I can't seem to speak their name. I lift up my eyes to the Souk Hills, Where does my help come from? I help myself to serving after serving and lick my fingers one by one with relish. I have been criticized not just once for licking a dish clean, but damn, if you aren't licking out your ice cream bowl, I ask you, are you really living at all? There has been a falling out, a finding out, having unearthed an incompatibility that could not be scaled, compounded by isms and abuse. I am watchful in case there is a forest fire in me. Birds call, and I want to be messiaen, and I want to fly. I think that's it for summary. Wow, I'm going fast. Okay. No, that's not it for summary. Sorry. This one's called Bike. This is still in the summer section. This is the way the ladies ride, some of us, on slim, cracked, shoulderless West Coast road. That is the curve and swoop of the hilltops I see when I'm on my way to find a refugium, away, away. But now I think I understand. We can't get there from here. You are on the best route to your destination based on current conditions, including, but not limited to, washed out roads, frequent fatal weather events, Earth's flesh buckling as we lacerate her for oil, mass extinction, garbage islands, profit-driven development of what little green is left, fires and floods, melting polar ice, clear-cut mountains on all sides of town, and highways blocked by necessary profits abused by keepers of the peace and impatient commuters in vehicles that weigh enough to kill an elk or a human. I should tell you, yesterday, for the first time in my life, I hit someone with my car, a squirrel. I kill it. I hold it together for the others, and I never want to drive again. Where are we all going, and why so fast and why so far? I will pedal until my legs are like stone. I will pay the rain no mind, for nor does it pay any to me, pumping my merry way up and gliding back, politely turning down help and side streets. For the hazard lights of the planet have flicked on. I can hear her gears grinding, and our only home is between them. That's about the longest one in the book. Autumn, autumn. Someone read a poem about fish. Sturgeon, that was wonderful. And teeth. This one is called In Which the Fish Teach Philosophy at Salaktal, which is the Sanchothan name for what we call Old Stream. I go to the stream to rinse my honeyed hands, come face to face with a coho, face to face with death, resting in the shelter of a fallen cedar, post-spawning, the end is near. I apologize aloud, change my mind, back away. Let my skin remain sticky. I will show my respect to the elders. As the air I'm breathing is saturated with particles of fish, should it be called water? That which I take in with this breath may once have been bubbles. And if I did wash myself in an autumn river full of salmon, making life and dying and decaying, perhaps I would be cleaner than before. Thank you for listening. I will take a minute on the dot.
Thank you so much, Allie. I could have listened for another, well,
Yeah.
several.
Yeah.
Nicolas Bradley. Oh, Nicolas is funded through the League of Canadian Poets, so thank you to the League. And Nicolas Bradley is the author of 2 books of poetry, Rain Shadow from the University of Alberta Press, and Before Combustion, the one he's reading from tonight, which is from Gaspereau Press. It's a coveted publisher. And he has also edited 4 books, I think 4, just 4? just 4. One of them is Rita Wong's 2021 Selected. And there are some Alberta books, so check those out. They look amazing, actually. His poems have appeared in many journals and anthologies, including Canadian Literature and Best Canadian Poetry 2024, and very recently as part of the League of Canadian Poetry's Poetry Pause. Nicolas lives in Victoria, BC, in the ʷəŋən territory, and he teaches at the University of Victoria. And I think he's brought half of UVic with him. Welcome, Nicolas.
Hello. Thank you all for being here. It's not the driest of nights. Appreciate it. Thank you to the Unearthed Poetry crew for the invitation to read. Thank you to the League for making this possible. And thank you to Allie and everyone else who read earlier tonight. I thought I would read a couple of poems from the older book, which is mostly an outside book, and then I would read some from the new book, which is about the great indoors. Song of the Notch. In the Queets Basin, there is no nature but the nature of things. No time but time of loam, the clock that peals from moment to end, from age to epoch to end. On the scrabbly ridge that divides one valley from the other, a gravel circus, a festival of chipped teeth, hands past 6 and 12. There is no middle but the middle of things, no midpoint, no path. What rises in the morning? No sun. At night, no moon. As headwalls watch, no egg hatches in another bird's heather nest, except the oval knot, a moulin, a mirror, through which doors springs elf and hoarfrost singing, cuckoo, cuckoo, the faces are forming. This is called A Lesson on Mount Rexford. It's a mountaineering poem from the days when I used to go outside. The technique is straightforward. Push both strands through the belay device's slots into the carabiner. Lock the gate. Fasten a prusik cord to the rope. It will jam if left untended, if you lose consciousness, say, or simply let your brake hand slip, and you will hang safely in suspension. Check each point of connection. Weight the system, squat to test it, unclip the backup line. Now, the real thing. Step back over the lip. Let the harness hold you, your adherent soles pressed against the stone. 30 meters down, you will reach the ledge, retrieve the rope, go home. If you neglect to secure the ends, of course, you may quite effortlessly lower yourself into free fall. It is advisable to tie them together, unless your intent is not to descend, but by intricate and elegant means, to make, as if by magic, one substance from another, to turn the body's water into air. Bad trip. Okay, so we screwed up, misread the map, a day's drive from home, another day's hike from the car. Late summer in the Bailey Range. Everywhere we looked, black bears getting fat and sleepy. And sure, off by a mile or so, we set up camp in the wrong scenic site. Wrong, we discovered, when up the path charged the rightful booker, frothing, profane, a man on fire. Some wiry old guy. No plaid and canvas pilot of a hybrid Subaru, no docile REI shopper. The survivalist type instead, veteran of a hidden war, ready to be shared. We'd already unpacked, applauded the view, boiled water duly fastened, despite our mistake, park permit to stake tent. Our new friend yanked that nylon pod off the ground, looking desperate to tell us he'd kill us unless we got the fuck out of there. So yes, we got the fuck out fast. In sleek pajamas, cups of half-cooked noodles in hand, rucksacks crammed with unsorted gear, we half ran, half fell down the trail, turned sharp at the faded signpost, searched for high ground to pitch for the night. Which is when we met, there, around the next gravelly switchback, a lumbering wall. 3 more steps, and we could have touched the bear's flank, seen what it smelled as it nosed toward the sunless bank. If he'd been polite, we could have shaken hands. We had half an hour of light and no ideas. This was no picnic, no waltz, no circus. As I said, we messed up. That was the last time your mother and I went camping. We ran out of weekends, of season. There was work. And then when we were due to think of cribs and rocking chairs, Cat Basin and the Soul Duck Road got forgotten. The next summer, a long walk was another creature, and we hardly left home, just in case. The bear, the man, the whole bad trip belonged to a different life, not ours. Finally, you invited us to dance. We bowed, took you by the heel, and dipped you in the bracing river that paws at the bed. So I wrote this book around the time of the birth of first of 2 kids. So a lot of these indoor poems are out of necessity. In the beginning, infant babe, babe who sleeps, I'm the oldest living thing you know, an unshaven bristlecone bent over your bed. Soon you will meet your prehistoric grandparents, and later your doctors and teachers, our friends, crones and geriatrics from a century before yours. So it will seem, till you learn in good time that 20, 40, 80 are not equally far gone. Soon you will greet the oaks behind our house that live 500 years, the outcropped gneiss on the hill up the street, so past it we leave counting to professionals. But for now, I'm your old man, the grisliest thing you know, and baby time is on your side. Waiting room. Your 3rd night alive, I drove home from the hospital to find sleep and left you sleeping those few hours. In darkness, having forgotten everything but food, water, and how to keep you fed, clean, and quiet, I entered the house, a stranger, and failed to notice the oak leaves letting go. At first light, I saw the altered season from your waiting room, its immaculate walls half lit by dawn and ready to surround you, to hem you in, to trace the perimeter of your days. The sun ballooning, I set out for the hospital, your window open to let in what I left out in the summer when I was distracted by new carpet and changing table, mobile and music box. Nuthatch squeaks, the pink of sea blush, our sniff of harbor, the threat of rain. So since there were no mountains being climbed, I had to think about what I was good at and what I could do. Night watch. In midlife, my principal tasks are to kill spiders on sight, to squash winter moths without marking the paint, to sunder glass from plastic in the carport for the morning's impatient truck, to keep cardboard apart from paper, to believe in such distinctions, to maintain that when ushered outside whence they came, flies will not visit, to preserve these articles of faith as if the war against disaster could be won by strictness alone. I set another load on its giddy ambit and sit vigil while they sleep upstairs, mindless of my battles during the small deserted hours, which I'll recount in triumphant detail soon over coffee. So because this is Victoria, you will all have seen flocks of middle-aged men riding their bikes in spandex. I regret to inform you that I'm one of them. Self-portrait in lycra skin suit. Riding against time, I am the future incarnate. My metronome feet are wrapped in polyurethane and polyamide, their unyielding souls cleated to the carbon machine. My polystyrene head catches no wind, and my limbs clad in copolymers are as dragless as money will buy. Last century's chemistry dresses me in day glow from prescription sunglasses to baby toes. I am a testament to progress and industry. But when I pedal my clunker virtuously to the supermarket, the 1800s toss and turn and blink. Although I'm ready for life on Mars, some part of me pines for horses, the world before combustion. I thought I had bed bugs once, and I didn't, but it turned me into a conspiracy theorist and generally a paranoid person. Expertise. My friend, the entomologist, gave away her box spring with her professional word that her bed was bugless, certified to be free of heteroptera. That impeccable platform had many would-be takers, no flat bloodsuckers hiding in the fabric, guaranteed. But where they were, she could not tell, in what library book, what luxe hotel, and there was no interest in that gratis lesson in linnets given by my friend the entomologist, who says although they live by night, we know them by morning. This poem is for students of mine who have to listen to Professor Bradley bang on about Wallace Stevens week after week after week after week. Being on fire. What is the shape, the taste of summer light that comes to rest on arid hills at the edge of the world as my window squares it? Already leaves have fallen, the undergrowth, a burgeoning basket of scraps and drafts. I see only brittle kindling and firelighter, hear nothing but matches striking. This climate summons abstractions and indifferences. Cirrus is the sky's bunting. The scarlet tanagers and orioles that winter in my sleep whistle incendiary tunes. From the resolute bird, Stevens wrote, I paraphrase, fiery feathers hang. It sings beyond us, alone. Alone, I have no words for the phoenix whose throat is full of its own accord with wordless songs, and I have no ideas before this view but final thoughts. The grass, the moss, the dirt, and the stone have been drained. The slug, the frond, the fern have been drunk by mere being, the swelter that simply is. I borrow again from the poet to ask, what is this smoke, this dormant gleam? I dwell on what I glimpse of the ocean, as if that saline casement were not framed by the fouled shore. I repeat my rusted self. Should fire drakes in blazing set fever skies alight, no watchers would notice. Dull portents escape us. Everything has soured, passed out of humor. Trust me, my belly is full of glass, my eyes are rubbed with sand, and I have been left in the kiln to burn. Now, giant sequoia and bristlecone pine, honey mushroom and creosote bush, yucca, quaking aspen, and palmer's oak. The oldest living things in the world glance up at me from the coffee table book. I study the expert photographs to catch time whispering, to hear age hum. Ringing in my ears, the drowsy pause between the last meal and the next walk. The youngest living thing I know sleeps behind the door, he and the bristlecone, getting on with the business of going on. Can't have a poetry reading in Victoria without one earthquake poem. Magnitude. Because it couldn't happen on such a balmy, windless afternoon, another in this unending August, we bask on the cut grass a little longer still. Because we'll need the heavy table for shelter, and the bottles of water shelved in the basement. It can't happen on the drive home from the lake, where because we were busy watching water skiers one-handed past the docks, busy practicing vroom vroom and birdie and cake, it couldn't have come. And it dare not surprise us now when I have unmet deadlines and a list of put-off jobs. The deer came from the golf course to dine in our garden, and the suddenly essential fence hasn't been built. So not this weekend. And because we haven't grown tired of Saturdays on cool east-facing beaches, of tottering into the big bath, not till autumn at least. In fact, not even then, because the drought has dropped the oak leaves prematurely, and someone will have to rake and bag them, take the crisp, smoky mess away. Look, our calendar is full, and ergo, we must be safe. This is the last poem I'll read tonight. It's called Loose Affiliations. What does it mean that on 2 occasions today, I spied the same dirty white RAV4 rolling a full 15 under the limit, except through the school zone where by fluke of reliable pace, not speeding became its opposite? Astrologers with their recondite methods for beholding signs, and tarot readers, weather watchers, just drive around on a wan afternoon a week before Christmas, running errands on the verge of the dead spell between solstice and the resumption of Terran affairs, and no shortage of omens will present themselves for consideration. Right in front of me, ping-ponging from one edge of the lane to the other, slowing the queue to a fit cyclist's clip, the muddy SUV, a coincidence that may not signal much beyond small world or keep your eyes on the road, etc., but in my book, no happenstance should be ignored. I'm floundering, kaput. I have a never-ending cold, a super flu caught at plaguey daycare from my toddler's drippy best friend. These liquid children are nothing but tears and bear hugs, wet masses crashing into each other. So I've been sick on and off for 2 years, and now I'm prepared for the universe to persuade me of its logic, ready to see what scheme keeps all things in motion. Instead, I receive an endless flashing red and a fusillade of questions from the back. Why? My son, the vector, has taken to pronouncing, that's enough for today, apropos of whatever. Cucumbers, hummus, indoor bicycling, wearing his diaper, and in the abstract, if not always the particular, he's generally correct. Enough is enough. There's nothing new, I'm told, under the sun, but his baby sister's half smile, not yet a finished thought, is fresh as each day's dissolutions, alive as the frustration of waiting for this whalish compact to pick it up. The Malheur is a river running from the right side of my brain to the heart's lower lake, where herons convene at twilight. I should leave language to the kids, swallow my tongue as if it were 1/8 of an octopus, as if so much calamari. My job, I've decided, is to gawp in awe and plow on, so I play again his favorite, Graceland, Paul Simon singing of miracle and wonder, as if I didn't know. Grace, though there's nothing less graceful, more wondrous than a GBH, static on one leg, lurching into its mechanical walk, heap of sticks and fluff comes sudden to life. Grace, though you'll have to go to work eventually, deal with the bullshit, the running noses. If you, meaning I, confuse blessing with salvation, every least bittern will disappoint. All you have is the moment with the bird, or 2 stuck behind a car when the mind can loaf a little. Thus the world, glory, traffic, affiliations formed and reformed. The light changes, voices behind me, hurrah. I'm finished with poems now. It's time to move on. Thank you.